What's up, man?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm playing your
Sorry, it
song.
took a second.
I'm playing the Mark Cohn song again
Okay.
because that's all I got for you for Memphis. Like I could play Elvis. I should have played some Elvis this time.
You could have. B.B. King, Elvis, a whole bunch. Isaac Hayes. Plenty of music.
Some good stuff. So I was just letting people know we're gonna spend some time talking all about flavor
Yes.
because you do some crazy stuff with flavor. But
Yes, that's
I
what
wanted
we
to
do.
I wanted to show you something first. I don't know if you saw it.
Okay. Well, those are candy corns.
Turkey dinner flavored.
Candy corns.
Okay, so in this bag, you ready? Green beans,
Okay.
roasted turkey, cranberry sauce, ginger glazed
Okay.
carrots, sweet potato pie, and stuffing.
Wow. Wow. I'm not a big candy corn fan, so
Yeah, I can't stand the stuff. Actually, to be
if
completely
they
honest
could
with you.
only, I guess they said we can only make it worse. But that's hey, I mean that's at least it's interesting. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's interesting about it is that like they thought somebody's going to buy this, right?
Right.
Right? Like, I mean, I guess I bought it. I mean, I didn't buy it. My boss bought it for me because I said I was interested in it. I saw an article about it online, and because I'm one of those guys that wants to try flavor, right?
Right.
Right. Oh, by the way, somebody asked. We got them at Walgreens, I think. They were at Walgreens.
Sounds about right.
Somebody asked.
Sounds about right.
And they were like $2.99 or something, right? I mean, we'll get into color in a little bit, but see, like that's wrong, right? And as far as I'm sitting, like that's just not right.
Green beans, you gotta.
Presumably that's green beans, right? Hold on, wait.
Let's
see what else is in here. Hold on, I can't. I'm digging for it. It's hard to tell what everything is in here, except for the green one and the red one.
Right.
And the red one is presumably cranberry, right? And that to me is the easy one, right? Cranberry is pretty easy in confection.
That might actually be the best tasting one in there. And then maybe the glazed carrots, maybe.
They're very ginger. I'll tell you what. And the cranberry, like the sweet potato pie makes sense to me too, right?
Right.
Look, somebody's told me to try it. Like, hold on. I'm gonna try the green bean.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay. Does it taste like a green bean? Or does it just taste sweet? Okay.
No, I mean, I'm not going to finish it. I ate half of it. So I come to you, or you're sitting around and you're like, I'm going to do a turkey dinner flavored box of chocolate. Like, what are you thinking? Like, what are you thinking about?
Well, I mean, let's see. Well, we do have a collard green and cornbread chocolate. So, and I have done a cranberry flavored chocolate before. We weren't doing a Thanksgiving, although So, we're doing a collection. It's gonna actually really be cool. And so the collard green and cornbread chocolate, we've had people taste it. It's great. Half of the layer is dark. I'm gonna definitely send you this box too, by the way. Half of the chocolate is dark chocolate collard green, and then the other half is white chocolate with cornbread blending into it. And so you're gonna flip out when you taste it, though. I'll just say that. So
right, but you got to highlight some flavors, right? I mean, like
absolutely.
Right, like okay. So here's my problem with this. Here's my problem with this candy corn.
Okay.
Allow me to go off a little bit.
Sure.
Cranberry is easy. Like in my head, it's cranberry puree, with a little bit of, with your dairy. There's probably a little bit of orange zest in there. Right. I'm doing that thing that I do at home. Like I probably add a little bit of cherry to it too. If I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like it's that cranberry,
little vanilla.
My family calls it my fancy cranberry dressing. Right. It's like,
gotcha.
My daughter wants it out of the can.
That's
right,
what
and
most
I make
people
this.
Want.
Right.
Yeah, they want the gelatinous ooze out of the can. That's all.
Right, and then I cook cranberries over a bain marie for like 2 days with some cherries and some orange zest and a little bit of sugar. Like that's mine. right?
Okay.
Okay, so, and somebody's asking, would love to hear about your flavor development process, and that's what we're talking about today. Okay,
Okay.
so
Yes.
cranberry's easy to me. Like that
Sure.
makes perfect sense. And sweet potato pie, it's take your favorite pumpkin pie recipe and use
Put
a
sweet
can of
potatoes.
sweet potato,
Right.
right? So, but green beans is probably along the line of your collards.
Right. It's out
Like,
there.
but why? But so you're telling me that it's crazy. So like I had too many cocktails and I'm like, I'm going to do collard greens, or like I remember my mom making collard greens growing up, or like why collard greens?
So here's how and somebody asked my process. So a lot of it really starts truthfully with, and I've always had a wild imagination, even as a kid, just been very imaginative, been very creative. My son's like that now. He's always telling me stories, and I'm like, what are you even talking about, or where did that come from? But then I think about it, I was like, oh, that was me. So,
Apple
but
tree,
right,
apple.
right, there you go. So, I spend a lot of time daydreaming, imagining things, and imagining flavors. But then I really truly try. My goal, honestly, is telling stories with chocolate. Some writer or some authors use pens. I use chocolate. And so, for instance, the collard green and cornbread in the collection that we're doing, there's an alignment. It's based on a series that's out there. There's an alignment to the Green Book, which is what allowed Black travelers to go around and know which restaurants and places they could stay safely.
Right.
And so that's where the collard green and cornbread piece comes in, because a lot of the places they went to serve soul food and that sort of thing of some sort. So, when I'm making chocolates, the Uncle Nearest collection, one of the pieces in there is called the Lincoln County. And so Lincoln County process is the Tennessee whiskey making process, where they're filtering the whiskey through charcoal. That's what distinguishes it from bourbon. And so that piece, we're using sugar maple tree sap to make a caramel with it, and adding the 1856 100 proof whiskey. So it's a bourbon caramel or a whiskey caramel basically. And then we're finishing it with essentially charcoal sea salt. So just creating all these alignments and things like that. But then it just makes a badass chocolate that tastes really good. So that's ultimately what I'm trying to achieve. I'm trying to achieve, well, what story is cool about Brian, and then how do I extract the DNA or the cool parts of that, and then turn it into a flavor or something that works in the food realm. It hasn't been put in a glass before. Would you serve it on a plate? All right, well, let's find how do we translate that into a 0.93 inch pastry or chocolate.
Yeah, that's like I do somewhere in my book. I've got a Red Bull caramel, right? And it's caramel made with Red Bull, right? And it definitely, you can't eat more than two of them. And like that's kind of right, because you got
jacked
wings,
up. Right? Yeah, right.
Yeah. But that's kind of the same thing, right? So like I went to see the Alton Brown show, right, where he was like performing live and cooking in front of people, and he wasn't cooking much; he was talking a lot, right? But,
right.
And he did a Red Bull sorbet, right, with liquid nitrogen and all this other stuff, right? And like my opinion about it was like, how do I, in my head, the rest of the ingredients are sugar, Red Bull, right, sorbitol, all this stuff. I'm like, what can I do with that? That's not a ganache, that's a caramel. Right. And I think it's like extracting the ideas, whatever they are, right? Like I had dinner at this rock star restaurant, and like I did a strawberry risotto plated dessert at one point, right? And because I had this strawberry risotto with chicken on a dinner plate, right? So I know the flavor works. Right, like you're saying, the bourbon works, or whiskey. I know the whiskey works. Sorry, wrong state. No. Kentucky bourbon, Tennessee whiskey, right? But now, how do I like make it, right? Like how do I noodle through? Like, so, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I know that turkey dinner works.
Right.
I don't know this bag of candy corn works. Like,
Right.
being
That's
full
some
disclosure.
things. Right. Some things are a bit. I mean, some things just don't work well. But then there are things that work very well that you have to also sell in a sense. Like, hey, this collard green and cornbread chocolate actually tastes good. Or even with our French blue cheese chocolate, a lot of people that end up loving it are actually people that hate blue cheese. You know.
Right.
So however that works. And the main thing again, like we're trying to just really connect those dots. So I'll give you an example. Did a Asian fusion dinner and made an uni or a sea urchin caramel, briny, salty, custardy like. So it kind of works, but it was awesome. So also did, but what they gave me ingredients that, okay, you need to use these things.
Right.
And then another one, I did a monkfish liver chocolate mousse cake, but monkfish liver or liver rather, pate mousse. You start thinking of, so there are ways to align these things. And then if you have some sense of food awareness and knowledge about ingredients and products, you can break those things down and then manipulate it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I think that's a challenge too. I think that, I used to go out to eat on a regular basis. I don't anymore. Stupid COVID.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Anyway, I mean, especially when I'm in, New York, San Francisco, those types of places, I feel like a lot of times chefs, whoever it is, are so interested in creating that sort of like the shock value that they don't spend a lot of time making sure it tastes good, right? And
Absolutely.
And that's kind of my opinion about this bag. And I don't mean to keep coming back to this bag, but it is, it's commercial available and whatever.
Right.
Like somebody in marketing said, hey, we want to try turkey dinner, right? And they probably didn't have a very long time, would be my bet, right? Because somebody had this idea in February
and pushed it out. Yeah.
Right. And I think the time wasn't spent executing those recipes, right? I mean, I think, we joked before about what's that recipe you made that you were sure everybody's going to love and people just couldn't stand it, right? I mean, this to me, there's things in here that, like the cranberry. The cranberry is a no-brainer to me. It should be Rockstar, right? Because it's flavors that we know. Sweet potato pie should be Rockstar. It shouldn't be hard, right? But turkey should be harder. Right.
Should be. And it should definitely come out. But like you said, you should be able to taste it. And again, so when I make something, I've probably made it or cooked. I'm much like a chess player. I've made the moves 30 different ways in my head before I've ever went to gone and execute the recipe. As I'm thinking about possible mistakes, coming up with contingencies. What does this taste like? What does that taste like? Recalling memory, going through that library of things that so we're not wasting a bunch of chocolate making something stupid. So,
do you have a barbecue sauce?
Yeah, we have a barbecue chocolate. So we
right. Well, that's what I mean. Like, do you have a barbecue? I mean, like you've got a barbecue.
Absolutely. So our Taste of Memphis has things like barbecue, banana pudding. There's a red velvet cake in there. There's a crowning Coke in there. There's passion fruit and vanilla bean. It's for Tiger. So things like that. So yeah, we have a lot of cool, so just to give you, and you've seen some of them, but this is like our little signature menu right there. So blue cheese to, brown butter, bourbon pecan, and goat cheese, port wine, and fig jam, and everything in between. So.
Yeah, I mean, so something I brought up barbecue because, like, to me, like, the Wayback Machine, like, it's Memphis, but I did barbecue, right? So, like, barbecue, like, we joke that if you cut me in half, I'd have a smoke ring still. It's been 15 years, but there, like, tomatoes make sense, and brown sugar makes sense, and molasses makes sense to me. Like, that's an easy give. Even like baked beans, right? Like, if I were to do a barbecue set, I'm probably not doing brisket. But like baked beans and just a couple different barbecue sauces and like highlighting vinegar and highlighting sweet and
Mm-hmm.
even highlighting
Smoky.
like smoke and celery seed,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
Like those are things to me that kind of like, cool, I can get my head around that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
And I think because when we create flavors or when we create, finished pieces, we
Mm-hmm.
do have to start with that flavor concept, right? I mean, we got to
Absolutely.
start somewhere in there,
Yeah.
other than raspberry, right?
Right.
And hazelnut.
And that's the thing, and so that's the challenge, especially today. People, even the general consumer now is so savvy; they've seen it all, so to speak. So,
Right.
to do just something with pineapple or raspberry or I mean that. But again, there's also a place for, the conventional, or
Right.
So we don't want to totally abandon and say, oh, we're just too good to do what works. But I think the other side of it is let's use that as a foundation, more so than just say let's just get rid of it and do something else.
Yeah, like my water today is orange
Okay.
pineapple.
Oh, nice. Not the
That's easy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now you're probably going to add some passion fruit to it, or you're gonna roast the pineapple, or you're going to do something to it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably me too. Like my assistant
Yeah.
gets tired of my harebrained ideas. It's like, what you should do with that? You should roast those. It's like,
Right. We're gonna always complicate the process.
it's not well executed.
Right.
Sorry, my
Right.
friends at Wegmans, but and this turkey dinner, like, okay, I can get my head around it, but you got to nail it. Like if you're gonna go out on a limb,
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm. if you're gonna do raspberry, it's not that hard. Like you can mess it up, and
Right. And it'll still be raspberry.
it's spice, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the pumpkin's kind of is there, and you put some marshmallows in it, and it is what it is. But
Sure.
you mess up blue cheese, probably not too sexy.
Yeah, it's not. A couple grams too many, and it's overpowering.
You said, sea urchin, because I have a sea urchin problem. Like,
Oh, you're not a fan of it anyway.
It tastes like muddy Jello. Like that's my opinion about it. And but
I can see that.
Things, and I would still probably pop it in my mouth, like truth be told, because I want to see what it tastes like.
Right.
It's hard, like, because we do have, I think our customers are, the end users have conceptions of what things are supposed to taste like, and then when you kind of like throw the pieces up in the air, it can upset them if it's something that's really like me and these sea urchins. Just like, no, I'm not eating.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's where the salesman side comes in. It's like, hey, you gotta try it. I know you don't like sea urchin, but believe me, this is gonna be the best piece of chocolate or caramel you're gonna put in your mouth. Hold on a second.
It's one of those weeks. It's been one of those weeks here at the office too. You're back.
Said. I'm back. Yeah.
You guys.
So I
was getting
my feedback was work. Let's see here. Right. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me? Yeah, but I'm not hearing you.
I don't know.
Okay. Now I can. But
you guys have that advantage too. In addition to flavor, you've got what it looks like, right? Like you can like you can make it look pretty, and that's got to go. That's got to go a long way, right?
Right.
Your problem is my sound, not yours.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I don't know what's
I don't know
happening.
what's happening.
I did a thing earlier today that we were online, and the Zoom crashed. Right?
Oh,
Gotcha.
I was like, the flavor guys are not happy right now. We're dissing the candy corns. Right.
Anyway, so you have that advantage of adding color and like that kind of another selling component in addition to flavor, right?
Right.
Right.
We're
We're
spending a lot
spending
of
a lot of
time
time
thinking of the
thinking of the
artistry of the
artistry of the
chocolate too,
chocolate too.
airbrushing, paint brushing.
Paintbrushing.
I mean, because people, as you know, people eat with
People
their
eat with their
eyes.
eyes.
So
I just get a new set of headphones. I'm getting a new set. I'm gonna go wired.
those
I'm gonna
sounds
get all like wired up as opposed to these
okay,
fancy
okay.
cordless ones.
Right. Big candy corn is coming.
All right. Yeah, because I've now mocked like Ferrera. How's that? Is that any better?
Yes, much better.
Glad I bought these fancy earbuds and they're not working today.
Right. Go technology.
So anyway, and that's the sales piece, right? I mean, it looks pretty, so I may be more inclined to try it, right?
Right. We want to dazzle you. We want to bring you in. People eat with their eyes, all of that good stuff. And so, I mean, it's because the chocolate could be the best tasting chocolate ever, and if it looked like a crumbled, sugar bloom mess, people wouldn't want to taste it. So,
right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we talked about this last time we talked, but like, what is the number one seller in your case right now?
By far, the number one seller is the French blue cheese chocolate. We probably get more requests. So one cool thing that you can actually do on our website now is you can actually build your own box, and so it's just a really cool feature. You go online, you see the chocolates, it gives you an exploded view of what's in it. But the French blue cheese, so the story behind that one even is I was asked to do a series of chocolates for for Sun Studios and Stax. It was music by the produced around these folks. So anyway, one of the songs was Savoy Truffle that was written by Eric Clapton for the Beatles. And just as it's talking about their love of chocolate or his love of chocolate. So, started looking into the Savoy and all that, and it ultimately landed on the French blue cheese chocolate. And that's where it came from. And so we probably sell more of that individual piece than just about anything. But our signature collection, those are our 24 most popular. But I mean, I've got 3 more collections coming out between now and the November. So we're just putting chocolates out.
The new website is kind of cool.
Yeah. Thanks. So like if you touch on the chocolate, look at what it does.
Ooh. Well, I'm on my phone too, so it's like.
Yeah, your finger will block it, but when you touch the chocolate, or if you scroll over it on your computer, it gives you like what the ingredients are inside, like a really cool expanded thing. Thank you.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
There, I got it.
Yeah, there you go. Boom. So a lot of the magic of photography went in that.
Right, but I mean, you've got some stuff in here too. I mean, like we talked about, I mean, you've got some stuff that isn't like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right?
Oh,
I mean,
right.
I mean, champagne you've got a champagne here. You've got things that are I don't want to say normal, but like not crazy stuff, right?
Right. I mean, coconut, pineapple, Meyer lemon isn't crazy. Things like that. So, like
cookies and cream.
Right, cookies and cream. We're not abandoning, convention or just saying, forget the last 200 plus years of chocolate, but but at the same time that gives us something to build on. So.
Right. Got it.
And that's like I said, but even those, the cookies and cream. The reason why it's called nostalgia is because that's the ice cream my grandmother always had at her house. There used to be an ice creamery called Angel Foods. And so, even champagne is one of my favorite things to drink. I literally have sitting right on my desk 2 different bottles of champagne and sparkling. So some badass bottles, by the way. But one's Oregon, one's French, of course. But I love champagne. So so there's still alignment. I didn't just make a champagne chocolate just for the heck of it.
Right, and I think that's important too. Like, I think we've got to take, the experiences that we have. Like, when we go out to eat, when we see other people doing things, when we try stuff, and we got to try those things. Like, that's my opinion about that. Like, I've got notions in my head. You've talked a lot about, you've played the tape forward, right? About the flavor and how you think it's going to work. But I think we all do that, right? Like, what's going to make sense there,
Sure.
So Terrell's asking when he should order right now for October 4th.
I would say now.
Yesterday.
Yes.
Order yesterday.
Right. Go on to
get
the
that
site.
Order in.
We'll get it out to you. I appreciate it, man.
But yeah, so like you've got to like favorite flavors when you're growing up, and you say I like champagne, like me eating chicken with strawberry risotto, and like
fancy.
Well, but you know what I mean? Like, and that I was in, guess where I was in Caracas touring cocoa plantations, and I was staying at the Intercontinental. So like it does get a little squirrely, but but you got to take those things like when you see them, and you really got to try to make something with them, right?
Absolutely.
And because it's important to us as we feed people, right? But I think your part about storytelling is awesome, because it is about telling the story.
I'm ultimately trying to create a relationship between you and the chocolate and me. This is me telling you my experiences of life, people I've met, places I've gone, things I've eaten, the things I love to drink. There's a margarita chocolate in there because that's literally one of my favorite cocktails, except I'll have the bartender, look, I want mine shaken, poured neat in a coupe with a little Grand Marnier on top. So I don't, so there I have my.
And you called me fancy? Like, you just called me fancy because I ate strawberry risotto, like chicken with strawberry risotto? Like, you have a whole margarita personal shaker.
Exactly. I want it this way, but we're particular, but we're like that, So, but that's the thing, and so really communicating what all of those things again in a brief moment, because it's a small, less than an inch piece of chocolate typically, but that's the thing that I also think that keeps people coming back, but it's also what keeps me making chocolate, because I'm constantly trying to tell stories. So
it's funny, so I did do culinary school, and I remember we did this whole I did pastry, right? But we did this whole segment on appetizers, and I still remember the instructor telling me, keep in mind that when you create an appetizer, or not an appetizer, when you create a past hors d'oeuvre, right?
Sure.
You've got a bite to 2 bites to show what you are, right?
Right.
And and the comment then was add more salt, right? Because but sorry, flavor crystals. Add more flavor crystals.
Right.
But I think chocolate, we're talking about 14 or 15 grams, of which 5 to 6 of it is the chocolate.
Sure.
Right.
So
you only have 8 grams or a third of an ounce to convince somebody of
that
flavor
what you're
and
doing.
that you know what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That playing that game about what flavor is this? Can you try this? Can you tell me what flavor? You don't have that opportunity.
Right. Yeah.
It's
this isn't MasterChef where they're blindfolding you and putting the spoon in your mouth, but you're right. So, and that's the thing. And even what's even harder, I think, is we're telling you what it is, and so we got it's either we're lying or not at that point, because do you taste it? Does it really? People taste things differently, so there's a part of that goes into place. No 2 people taste wine the same, all that sort of thing. But pineapple is still pineapple,
right,
or whatever.
Yeah, that's like so another person that I really respect in right now making chocolate in North America is a guy named Ramon Perez.
Oh.
And Ramon's out in the Sacramento area, right? And Ramon does there's small pieces, they're probably 10 grams generally. Usually a series of 1 or 2 flavors with 1 or 2 components. And when you taste these things, like the flavor. Like, you're not like raspberry?
Right.
Okay, that's green tea. Like that is matcha. Like
right.
You and I are on the same page. And I think, something that I noticed with, when we opened your box around here, I kept the guide, right?
Right.
The guide was at my desk.
Right.
I tasted what I wanted to taste, and I put the rest of the chocolates for the rest of the team here to try. Sure. And everybody gets really bent out of shape. It's like, well, how do I know how do I know what it is? It's like, you're gonna know what it is when it's in your friggin' mouth. Like, right. And
use your actual taste buds. Right.
But in their defense, back to my turkey dinner, right? Like, when we tasted these, I couldn't tell you the difference between roasted turkey and stuffing.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Right, and okay, so
probably
part of that
because there isn't, and honestly, there's probably not a difference.
No, right, like and that's part of the concept, right?
Other than the color on it.
Right, I can't create something that I can't execute.
Right.
Like, you tell me you want me to create, like, I know you've got like a coffee Nutella piece, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, those are 2 flavors that I know what they taste like, you know what they taste like, and anybody I give it to is going to know what they taste like. My mother's going to know what it tastes like. My mother's not the best savvy food eater in the world, right? Okay. But she's going to know, okay, this is Nutella, these are hazelnuts, and this is coffee, right?
Yeah.
If we get it right.
Right. That's the key. Yeah.
But if we get it wrong, everybody's going to get it wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And that's when I put something in front of somebody and they go, is it strawberry? I know it's not right. Like,
right.
Unless it's a flavor like sea urchin.
Right.
Okay. If it's sea urchin, then
all bets are off. Right. So, but however, and that's a distinct thing. But if you've never had sea urchin, how do you really know? So, then it's just on me to deliver that. So
right. But that's my point, right? Like, if I'm going to pick something new, that's cool. But if I'm going to pick a flavor that's kind of like not a traditional chocolate flavor, it still has to be that flavor. I just have to make it work.
Right. Because someone is going to know. So, yeah, that's the thing.
Right. Like the popular one of your pieces up here, and everybody's like, ooh, can I have some of that? Because we cut your box into quarters. Each piece goes into 4 pieces so that everybody could try it. It's buffalo.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a little chicken wing thing here.
Right.
Ranch does not belong with chicken wings. It's only blue cheese.
Exactly. I only eat blue cheese, and I'm not from Buffalo, and I didn't know that was a rule, but that's been my guiding principle. Right.
So that was the one that everybody's like, oh, cool, because it's a flavor that the 5-year-old, like 5-year-olds in Buffalo eat blue cheese, right? Like, maybe the rest of the world except for France, 5-year-olds don't eat blue cheese, but it's like a staple of the diet here, right? Sure. And so if you're going to do it, cool. But don't mess it up.
Right. So
right, and so
fine line. So
right, and so like somebody great comment by Laura's Chocolate Life. It's so important that chocolate tastes like what you say it will, right? Absolutely. And it's not just what I say it will, what you think it's going to taste like.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Perception is truly reality in this, because I can say it tastes like something all day. But if Laura tastes it and like, well, it's supposed to be orange and something, but I taste banana. I don't know, but So.
Right, and maybe that's the problem with my orange pineapple drink.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's really artificial.
Right.
Which, okay, I get it. It's a 42-cent can of water.
Right.
But B, to me, then there should be it's pineapple. It's not orange.
Right.
Like there's a lot of pineapple flavor there, and there's artificial pineapple flavor, which I don't care for. But they were out of stock on the line that I wanted. Anyway,
gotcha. So you went for the water. It's okay.
But I mean, I think when we talked before, my inclination on that blue cheese, now that you've nailed that blue cheese, is to add some Frank's hot sauce to it, right? Or a chili something and a crunch, right?
Yeah.
So that is buffalo chicken wing.
Okay.
Right. But I think that's also the cool thing is like how we piggyback on experiences and flavors.
Right. Absolutely. And thanks, Kyle. He said something was delicious. Is this?
It was the blue cheese.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Cool.
They thought the rest of your box was crap, but
cool. But yeah, Frank's. I put that on everything. I remember that commercial. So, but no, I don't. But it's just a cool commercial. So,
but you're right. But I mean, like, so if I'm creating that box in New Orleans, right?
Sure.
Then that flavor is Tabasco.
Sure.
But in Buffalo, that flavor is Frank's.
Ah, gotcha.
Right. Like, and I mean, I guess other places in the world like ranch dressing. I think it tastes like. Anyway, whatever.
right.
But I don't think. But that recipe doesn't work in my head without the blue cheese.
True.
Without that, it doesn't work with ranch. Ranch and chocolate are not friends, right? Like
I've not even tried that one before, so and I've tried a lot. So
I saw a game on TV recently that it's like you take a food item and what's going to make it better, chocolate or ranch dressing?
Oh,
right.
Okay.
And we were joking. It's like nothing. Ranch dressing makes nothing. Ranch dressing doesn't even make lettuce better.
Because I do use blue cheese when I get or vinaigrette of some sort. So yeah.
But
yeah, hey.
Bacon.
But I mean,
bacon makes everything better.
All in all, at the end of the day, like just trying to have fun, but then be serious about it from a technical standpoint. But man, I'm just trying to make people have good imaginations out there and dream about the chocolate the next day.
Right,
So.
and then we've got to do the balancing, and we've got to do the shelf life, and we got to do all that stuff. Like that to me is like the secondary piece, right? Like I really want to get people like, ooh, that flavor is really cool. Like that's
but
awesome.
Then, like you said, all those things still, knowing all the balancing impacts the flavor because you're able to put in the chocolate and sustaining it and all that stuff. It matters. So.
Yeah, I did a pumpkin pie recipe like really on in my little world that so I made it and I took it to a trade show, right? And it's like 2 weeks later.
Okay.
And they were there for display, but somebody's like, "Can I try one?" I'm like, "Sure." And I don't know why I decided to cut it in half first to show them how beautifully I'd like molded it and blew. Like as I flicked the thing off the counter, I'm like, "Nah, you don't want to try this." But right, because I didn't account for the fact that I'm using like pumpkin puree.
Right. So,
right,
yeah.
And it's all water.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So, which is just bacteria's playground. So.
Right. Like awesome. Good idea there, Fry. But you're right. We do, I mean that's in our mind. I think when we're creating that flavor piece, knowing we're going to have to do something to overcome that.
Yeah.
In theory. I mean. I wish we were all what's her name in New York and we make it today, we sell it today, and you eat it this evening, right? I mean, that would be awesome.
Absolutely. So, but we don't all have 3 million people in our backyard, so, that helps too. So, but yeah, like I said, I think the creativity side of it is what's a lot of fun for me, as I mentioned earlier, and which is, for instance, with the fall flavors, like I'm gonna tell you some of the stuff we're about to put out here. So we're doing our fall winter 20 collection. We'll have things like so we're doing a peanut butter and jelly, but it's allspice peanut butter, milk chocolate, and then a black currant caramel. Doing things like tarragon orange marmalade.
That sounds good.
Yeah. So a hot toddy, basically, which is whiskey or bourbon, sometimes depending on where you are, tea, and that's also black tea, whiskey, lemon, honey, and fall spices, things like that. Bourbon brine peaches. So we got a bunch of peaches and have been soaking, been curing them in Woodford Reserve, and then we'll blend them with milk chocolate, ginger spice pear. You mentioned something with ginger earlier. Then we're going to put some Macallan 12-year sherry oak in a chocolate. And
what are those going to be, like $47 a piece?
Right. So, so pretty much no.
But honestly, that's a good point, right? Like, if I want to put shaved white truffles in my piece, that's cool.
Right. Got to have somebody to want to buy it though. So,
and at the price that they're going to cost.
Right.
Like I've got to find that place where I just said, look, I got to make that big flavor. Right. So if you're using that 12-year-old Macallan, what is that, like $75 a bottle right now?
Yeah,
it's been a while
about $80. Yeah, that's on the lower end of their. That's why I went with the 12-year.
Right. So. Right, but there's got to be some value there for the customer, right? Because they're not going to pay $4 for that one when the rest of the case is $2.
Absolutely. So
right.
Yeah.
Another thing we got to keep in mind.
There has to be some symmetry there for sure.
Right.
And again, I think we try to achieve that too through the complexity of other chocolates. While this one has one ingredient, the others have several, and create kind of this it's all alchemy in a lot of ways. Just really trying to we're sprinkling some magic in there and that kind of thing. So.
Okay, so in other news, and for those of us who didn't join us yesterday, they are in the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't know who's playing. I just heard that they're in the finals on the radio this morning.
Okay.
So that's all I know. And I know that my Eagles are 0-2. That's all the sports news I have for today.
Yeah, Lakers won yesterday.
So. Are they? Is that the Western Finals?
Western Finals. So they're up 3-1. So I mean, hey, big time. Football. I'm a big football fan. So are you a Buffalo Bills fan?
I grew up in Philadelphia. I'm an Eagles fan.
You just said Eagles. So
and they're 0-2.
0-2. So it's an interesting season. So we'll. I mean, it's only 2 games in, but we're just in different times right now. So the fact that they're even playing football is somewhat of a miracle, I guess. But I knew that we're not going to not play. So
the Titans don't play in Memphis, though, right?
No, Nashville. So there's a whole sordid history there. But
they played briefly in Memphis
for a hot, like I said, briefly. Not even a full. Did they play the full? They may have played one full season. So
yeah. It sounds like I don't know anything about sports. Like, my wife will tell you all I do is like pay attention to sports, and now I'm like, I don't know. Like this whole conversation, I don't know. So anyway,
I'm literally the only American in this trivia. They're all Canadians. It's about 50 Canadians and me, and we play trivia via Zoom and Kahoot. And yesterday it was sports, and so I'm amped up on my sports knowledge right now. So, which I love sports, but I'm just saying. So it's just kind of apropos that we're talking about that at the moment. But we do make some golf ball shaped chocolates. They look just like real golf balls, by the way.
Are they filled or are they hollow?
They're filled. Yeah. So filled with, usually there was some kind of liquor in it.
So,
what's up, Chocolatier? Thank you so much. Yeah, I have to check you out. Oh, and someone just said, "Go Canada." Yeah, so yeah,
it's a mile away. It's a mile.
Canadians.
Canada is only a mile and a half from the office.
Okay, so you just go outside, wave, and be like, "Hey."
Yeah, I could.
Right.
I can't go there. I'm not allowed to cross the border because us Americans. But
right.
Anyway. All right.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. Do we got anything else on? What else? I mean, I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it, man.
That was a good 45 minutes.
Yeah, tell your folks, check us out online, Phillip Ashley Chocolates. We are doing I will say one thing we're doing, you may have seen it, we're doing a really cool giveaway right now, where we're giving, it's pretty awesome. We're giving a bottle of Lenny Kravitz's Dom Perignon, 2008 bottle of vintage brut, and then it has a box of our chocolates, a 12-piece chocolate. Thanks, Hollywood. Then,
An unsolicited plug. Nobody said anything about her putting that up.
right. So, then what else is in there? A couple other things, but give it a $500 gift, Amex gift card. Plus, there's basically a $2,000 handbag from Saint Laurent in there. So, so that's all on our Instagram stuff. So yeah, quick plug.
That's like pretty fancy, man. You're like Johnny Highspeed.
Yeah, we're fancy. We're fancy. We're in Memphis and fancy.
So we talked about this. We're going to get together one of these days when the world gets back to normal.
Yes, come up there, hang out with you. Excited about the mask. Excited about the mask mold. So that's
shit! I was supposed to bring pictures and I completely forgot because Janine's on vacation. So Phillip so Tom Rick has been releasing a line of stupid cord. Tom Rick that's why I had to get the cord because I gesture a lot. We've been doing a line of molds that have been chef inspired. People like Chris Elbow, Chris Harvey. I've got a couple. My assistant's got one or two. A bunch of other people. We asked Phil to do one after our chat last time, and he's got this bar that's like smoking hot, and then we're working on the praline too that should be available in the next couple months.
Right. Soon. Yeah, covered soon. But they're going to be nice. So yeah, I'm super impressed with. I mean, first of all, it's been great working with you guys. But you know, when y'all sit the drawings, this is it.
So and then we Philip spent all this time creating something, and we're getting through it, and then we released something that looked exactly the same. It was we really should rethink this one.
Right. It happens sometimes, though. It happens. You guys are fun, though, so I love it. Thanks.
All right. Anything else? I don't know.
No.
I promised we weren't going to complain about the world today because that's all I do is complain about the world.
I was complaining about the world. No, I'm gonna just sandwich, and I got to do another thing in 10 minutes. So.
All right, man. Thanks a bunch. We'll I'll talk to you at some point. I'll email you.
Yeah, we'll talk. I'll give you a call. All right.
All right.
Thanks,
Peace,
guys.
bro.